Welcome to Sideline Judgement. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And today, Tyler, it is mock draft 3.0.
3.0, baby.
We were going to allow for trades in this mock draft, but it seems like the NFL got a hold of it.
They said we don't need it.
They said we don't need it. They said, don't worry, guys. We'll take care of the trades for you. We will get to those trades in a second before we begin mock draft, but I want to begin with quick hits, Tyler. And I want to begin with a somber quick hits. Unfortunately, Howard Schnellenberger, the legendary college football coach with stints at Miami, Louisville, Oklahoma, and Florida Atlantic, has passed away at age 87. He is, to put it quite simply, the godfather of college football in South Florida. And I don't think that is an understatement. He was instrumental in building up Miami's program. He was the offensive coordinator for the 1972 Dolphins. That'll come up later on. He played under Bear Bryant at Kentucky. He coached at Alabama while Bear Bryant was the head coach at Alabama. And he is most notable for being the head football coach that essentially saved the University of Miami football program. He's the guy that they brought in. It was going to go under. Miami was going to get rid of their football team. And he came in and he drew a line at I-4 from Tampa all the way to the end of the Space Coast through Orlando and said, this is the state of Miami from their south. And he recruited Miami, the state of Miami, from Orlando down like it was its own state. And he is really responsible for being the first coach to really recruit Miami in that way in South Florida and Central Florida, and is pretty much responsible for the over-recruiting of Florida that we see today from college football programs across the country. Mm-hmm. He won a national championship at Miami, and his players often say that he would have been the Nick Saban of college football if he would have stayed at Miami. He then went over to the USFL with the Spirit of Miami team that was starting up. He was supposed to be the general manager and coach of that team, but unfortunately they never ended up getting taken off the ground. And so he kind of left University of Miami for nothing, which is a bit sad. But Miami ended up picking up the slack there, as we know. He then went to Louisville and reconstructed their entire program. The athletic facilities at Louisville are named after Coach Howard Schnellenberger. He then went to Oklahoma for a year. That didn't go very well. He went 5-5-1. And after that, he kind of took a couple years off and decided to build the program at FAU. He was the architect of that program. He started it from the beginning. He was there in 1AA, what is now known as FCS. FAU then went up to 1A, which is what now known as FBS, and essentially created the FAU football program, took them to the Sun Belt, and laid the groundwork for what Lane Kiffin did a couple years ago and what Willie Taggart is trying to keep up right now at FAU. Very sad day on Sunday when he passed away this past Sunday for the South Florida football community. And we lost a very important coach in our sport. And it's a bit emotional for me just because, as you know, big FAU ties over here. And, big South Florida guy. I love where I'm from. I'm not ashamed to say it. I'm known as the Florida guy everywhere I've gone. And I'm very proud of that. And Howard Schnellenberger is one of those people that I can hold up and say, I'm proud of being from South Florida because of people like this, Godfather of college football in South Florida. It's a shame he's not in the College Football Hall of Fame. And it is very sad that he will not be alive for when he does get inducted.
Yes.
So
that's pretty sad, actually.
May he rest in peace. And we hope that his pipe will always be lit in my eyes because he was known for always having a pipe in his mouth, which is crazy in South Florida. How hot is it?
That's how you know he's for real because in South Florida of all places, you're putting lit objects into your mouth constantly.
3-piece suit and a pipe. That's what Coach Schnellenberger was all about.
In the Miami humidity.
Oh, and no pun intended with the basketball team, the literal Miami humidity. So rest in peace, Coach. Wanted to give you the first 5 minutes of the show just because, very important to me personally, very important to Raul, my stepdad, big FAU fan. He was very sad. And very important to South Florida football, so honor the man, deserves his dues, deserves his flowers. That is quick hits, Tyler. We will now be moving on to our mock draft. Wanted to give Coach Schnellenberger all of that. Tyler, in the spirit of Coach Schnellenberger, the Miami Dolphins have made moves, my friend.
Yes.
Talk to me, Tyler. Give me the trades.
So What day was this? This was, I believe, it was Saturday, correct?
No, this was Friday because I called you.
It was Friday, yes.
Frantically.
Yes. So Friday, news comes across the dash that San Francisco has traded with Miami for the number 3 pick in the 2021 NFL draft in exchange for pick 12 and then a 2022 first rounder, a 2023 first rounder, and a 2022 third rounder. So Miami is just like, yeah, we'll move back to pick 12 and get an extra first round pick, 2 extra first round picks out of this.
Right. But it's not over yet.
Sorry, one. And that was
2.
already one. 2. Sorry.
So
that was already
2 first and a third.
I'm misreading.
And you flip picks.
Yes.
Right.
So that was already pretty crazy. You got an extra 2 first round picks out of that. Like, okay, cool. You know what? You could probably call that a day. Like you're still at top 12, be able to get a good player. In some capacities, you might even want being to pick later because then players are kind of eliminated for you.
Right.
I wouldn't, subscribe to that theory, but that is a way to look at it. You're like, okay, got a bunch of stuff out of San Francisco. I think it's a good trade for San Francisco considering that they are like, well, we're in a winning window. Let's go do it. We'll discuss that later.
Yep. Could
have called it there. Mere moments later.
Not even 10 minutes.
Mere moments. ESPN files another additional report saying that Miami has traded with Philadelphia to move back up to pick number 6 to swap the 6 and the 12 spot in exchange for a 2022 first rounder and a 2021 fourth rounder. So Miami traded down from 3 to 6 and got an extra first round pick out of it. Like basically, I'm reading.
Going from Miami to Philly, we sent them pick 12, our next year's first rounder and our fourth rounder this year in exchange for pick 6 and a fifth rounder this year. So what Miami essentially did was move from pick 3 to pick 6, and they gained
a first and a third,
a first, a third, and a fifth. In exchange for...
Oh, yeah, I didn't even see that.
In exchange for swapping picks and giving up a fourth. That's essentially what happened.
Masterful move by Chris Gray, in my opinion. Masterful move.
Genius move.
In the sense that, and we'll talk about the Philadelphia Eagles side of this later because our friend of the show, noted Eagles fan, Steve Peters, was not happy about this decision.
No, he was not. And I didn't interact with him because I was so happy I didn't want to, crush it.
But in my opinion, massive move by Miami. You don't need pick 3 because that is prime real estate for somebody who wants a quarterback desperately is willing to trade up into that spot. You don't need a quarterback. You can trade back a couple picks, but pick 6 is right in the way it's going to break likely that you're going to get probably one of the top 3 players that you're going to want.
Yeah.
And
we'll talk about those players when we get there.
Extra players. You're going to get extra things in the future because you got an extra first round draft pick out of it. Because staying at 3 would have been fine because you're gonna get the third best player in the draft in your eyes. So and honestly, probably the first on your board because the first 2 picks are almost definitely gonna be quarterbacks. One definitely will be, the other one should be, but the Jets are the Jets, so we'll see. And so staying at pick 3 would have been perfectly acceptable. It would have been cool. But no, Chris Greer says, I'm going to get a little extra out of this. And we'll probably still get the same players he wanted.
Right.
So, masterful move. I think this is the right move for San Francisco because they're in a position where they want to get a quarterback they can believe in the building during their winning window.
Right.
And then for Philadelphia, I think this was conspiracy theory. I think this is for not even conspiracy theory. I think for Philadelphia, this was literally just a trade to take pressure off their backs. Because at 6, there's a possibility that some quarterbacks are going to be available to you.
Right.
And then you got to really decide if you want to
what direction you want to go.
If you want to go with one of those, or if you want to stick with Jalen Hurts, the likelihood is a pick 6, you're not going to get the one that you might probably want because at least 3 or 4 will be gone. But by 12, you probably won't have this issue.
Right.
So they're basically removing the pressure off of themselves and giving up the possibility of drafting a couple good players.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the smart move necessarily.
Neither do I, but I understand their logic around it. I don't agree with it, but I understand the logic.
No, yeah. I understand how they got to that conclusion. It's a bit of a coward move, but...
Right, and the important part here is that, yes, on paper, Miami's giving up a first rounder, but because of the trade with San Francisco, Miami has at least one first round pick in the next few drafts, right? So we have our pick this year. Next year, we don't have our picks. That's the one that was sent to Philadelphia, but we do have San Francisco's.
Yeah,
and
somebody else's pick.
Right, and if you're looking at the competitiveness of the AFC versus the NFC, especially in our division, the Dolphins are most likely, or they should, if in a successful season, make the playoffs next year. San Francisco, if they continue to have injuries, if Seattle has a resurgence, if Kyler Murray takes the next step, if Matthew Stafford works with the Rams, that's just their division right there. So I'm going to go ahead and gamble and bet that the San Francisco draft pick is higher than our pick, which means that it was essentially a really good move on top of, we already said it was a good move, but in that sense, so I'm not mad about it at all. We have a first round pick next year. And then in 2023, we have 2 first rounders, our first rounder and San Francisco's. So very happy about that. You also get another top 100 pick next year with an additional 3rd round pick. I would like to, in this moment, honor one Miami Dolphins legend, Laramie Tunsil, who he was responsible for moving out to Houston. He got us that 3 pick this year. He is now responsible for 4 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and 2 third-round picks.
Hall of Fame. Give
me a player with more draft capital that was netted for him. Can't name him.
I mean, the literal only thing you could probably even think of, and I don't even think this would count, was the RG3 thing.
But even then...
here's that
the thing. We took the original capital and then flipped that very last asset of the original capital and got even more. It was a fantastic haul.
And it's crazy because Laramie Tunsil is okay.
Right.
But
he's good,
he is an NFL player.
Right. Right.
But he's not he ain't a franchise left tackle.
Correct. And even though he's getting paid like one.
Yeah. He has netted so much out of you guys.
I know. I love it so much. He's a covert agent is what he is. And I really appreciate it. I think we'll get to it when we get to the Dolphins pick. Tyler, let's go ahead and start the mock draft. You are going to be picking the odd picks. I will be picking the even ones. We will switch next time. This is the way it goes. So Tyler, as always, you have the first pick. The draft starts at 2, so it's just a formality at this point. Go ahead and say it.
I'm going to take my full 5 minutes.
Absolutely not.
No, yeah. Absolutely not. No. The pick is Trevor Lawrence. Send tweet. Bye.
There we go. Thank you very much. No discussions. As we said before, the draft starts at 2.
The Jacksonville Jaguars have literally put less than a 0 effort into hiding what they're doing.
Tyler, there were 31 teams at Zach Wilson's pro day. Jacksonville was the only one not there.
Why would we go? Well, first of all, you shouldn't even draft Jack Wilson second. It should be Justin Fields, if anything. But even if you you're gonna it's one of those things where oh, you can't be the one that's not there. Everyone's like, I don't care. We're not gonna pick him.
Right. It doesn't matter.
What's the point?
And Urban Meyer.
Why are 31 NFL teams there? There should only be 15.
Yeah. Exactly. And
why is Kansas City at the Zach Wilson Pro Day?
And Urban Meyer even came out and said it. He was like, yeah, we're pretty much going to take Trevor. That's the way we're leaning at this point. Come on, dude.
Which is as much as an answer out of a head coach as you're going to get.
Exactly.
That is the most yes answer you're ever going to get out of a head coach because they don't want to tip their hand, even though there's literally no way he doesn't pick Trevor Lawrence.
He is not watching top level first round tape because he knows he's taking Trevor Lawrence. He's watching back half of the first round tapes to know who he's going to take with his second pick. That's his primary concern. So can't believe it. Awesome. What a king. He outwardly says he's going to take Trevor Lawrence, doesn't show up to his pro day or doesn't show up to Zach Wilson's pro day and is at a golf tournament during Trey Lance's. What a flex.
TBC, baby.
What a flex. Pick 2, the New York Jets. All right, here we go. I am given these new developments, right? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the right thing. In this draft, I'm going to do the right thing. That's what I've decided
to do. Right thing.
the right thing. I am going to give the players that I believe these teams should take. And with the second pick, I'm going to give the New York Jets Justin Fields. I'm going to do it. I don't know if this is
the correct pick, but I'm like 99% sure it's not going to happen.
Exactly. But if I was the GM of the Jets, I wouldn't even take up much time. Again, send tweet, send it in, Justin Fields, take it away. He had his pro day today, looked fantastic, ran like a 4.4 40. Incredible. It's not a hard decision for me. Second best quarterback in the draft. No question about it. Give him
Justin Fields.
Yeah, Justin Fields.
All right. Next up is the San Francisco 49ers. All
right, Tyler. It's time to have some fun.
It's their time. They have been linked to Mac Jones.
Yikes.
That is ridiculous.
Did you see the clip? Did you see the clip of Kyle Shanahan like shaking his head when Mac Jones overthrew someone in his pro day?
Yeah, I did.
And it was like, I felt like in his eyes, he was like, we traded 2 first rounders and a third for this.
No, I mean, like, what Tyler thinks will actually happen on draft night is the Jets are going to draft Zach Wilson and the 49ers will take Justin Fields or Trey Lance. I don't think Mac Jones is the pick.
Okay.
But considering Zach Wilson is here, I'm going to take Zach Wilson with the 49ers pick. I'm not going to, overthink it.
Right.
Trey Lance has had less starting time, so while his physical measurables are more desirable, I'll still take Zach Wilson, especially in that offense that Kyle Shanahan runs, where he'd fit in the system really well.
Okay.
So San Francisco gets their new quarterback, Zach Wilson. He's a Mormon. Jogger.
What does this mean for Jimmy G?
I do actually think that they want to keep Jimmy G for another year.
I believe them.
I really believe it. Like
especially when you look at
unless the Patriots get desperate and are willing to trade something,
right? But when you look at the cap hit for Jimmy G, it's something like if they cut him this year, or get rid of him or whatever, it's like $26 million against the cap in dead money. If they cut him next year, it's like 2.5. It's like a significant, like if they want to move on from him and they, let's say in your scenario, they take Zach Wilson and they want him to be their quarterback, they can let him sit a year behind Jimmy GQ. And if they want to do that immediately, then boom, they can do that. And Jimmy G can go sign with someone else.
And a part of it is that like Jimmy G is like in that weird area where he's clearly good enough. He almost won a Super Bowl with them.
Yeah.
I think he's very attainable of that play again in regards to, the thing is, he always gets injured. That was the one season that he
did not
stay healthy. And additionally, this pick is more so for long term because this is like, even if you think Jimmy G is good when he's healthy and can be good for 1 year, like I do, like year in, year out, you're going to want somebody else in the building eventually. You're going to want a younger guy in the building. So I think Zach, that's what this pick is for. I do still think they're going to keep Jimmy G for at least 1 year. Like,
you don't trade 2 first rounders and a third to not take someone that you envision your franchise with for at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years,
Yeah.
So I agree with that. All right. Pick 4, the Atlanta Falcons.
Do it.
I'm going to,
Yeah.
Day-Day's going to send me Day-Day's going to send me an edible arrangement.
It's right decision.
Give me the best non-quarterback in this draft, Kyle freaking Pitts.
If I had to pick one person in this draft class that I would pick to become a Hall of Famer, it'd be Kyle Pitts.
So here's the thing. I agree
over
with that.
My own quarterback.
I agree with that statement. Here's the thing. With Kyle Pitts, with the 4th pick, let me say this. There are rumors that the Falcons really like Trey Lance, that they have him rated highly, that they think he's the 2nd best quarterback in the draft, and by default, the 1st best because Trevor Lawrence is a given to go to Jacksonville, so not even worth discussing them with him.
Mm-hmm.
I can see them going with Trey Lance. I can see them going with Lance, have him sit behind Matt Ryan for a year, maybe 2. You look at the weapons. They have Calvin Ridley. They have Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry, right?
No, Hunter Henry went with the.
He's in New England. Who's
Patriots.
the tight end? Who's the tight end?
They had Hayden Hurst.
They had Hayden Hurst, right? That's what it was.
I mean, they may still have Hayden Hurst.
Right. It's a contract thing. And then they have Julio. Like, they have weapons, and it would work well. And I have been very high on Trey Lance. To me, he's the third. I've moved around, and at one point I said Zach Wilson's QB2, and I was adamant about it on the podcast. I've changed my mind a bit just because of the things that I have been able to see from Trey Lance. But I loved him when I watched him not miss a single pass in a semifinal game 2 years ago. It was very good. So I can see him going to Atlanta. I think that's probably what might happen. But if I'm the Atlanta GM right now, I like what I'm doing with Matt Ryan. He's got a good 2-3 years left of him playing wise at a high level. I would not pass up on a generational talent. Generational talent is an insult to Kyle Pitts because this man is above generational talent.
Yeah, no, he's insane.
Today was Florida's pro day. His wingspan was 86 and 3/8 inches. It is the longest wingspan of a wide receiver or tight end in the past 20 years. It's insane.
God.
The man is an animal. He's a tank. And it's funny because today on Twitter, a lot of people were like, it was like NFL scouts and NFL people on Twitter was like, oh my gosh, Kyle Pitts, and it's Florida fans. And it's like, we've been trying to tell you all year. And it's true. He's the best non-quarterback in this draft. I think if he's there, the Falcons should take him. So I'll give them Kyle Pitts. Makes me sad because I kind of hope he's there at 6, but it is what it is.
I hope that Urban Meyer, sends a package to some people to get up there, but it's not going to happen. But
not going to happen, my guy.
The talk was more of like, oh, he's not going to get past 15, and now I'm like, he ain't going to get past like 8,
6. Like, he won't get past. He won't get past. Well, he could get past 6. He's not getting past 7.
Yeah,
I can tell you that.
So it's becoming less likely.
Yeah. Moving on,
Cincinnati Bengals at 5. Mm-hmm. There has been talk of the Bengals taking Jamar Chase to reunite him with Joe Burrow. And while, yes, that would be great for them, and, Jamar Chase is a great player, I adamantly believe so, it won't really matter if you don't, keep Joe Burrow upright, which, you would think you learned that lesson considering what just happened last season. So I'm going to give them Penei Sewell like we've been giving them all along because it is the smart pick. It's a little bit of the boring pick, but it is the right pick.
I agree. And here's the thing. If this wasn't a draft class where there were 3, maybe 4 high quality potential starting quarterbacks, and there weren't many teams that were hungry for it, he would be the first, second overall pick. He's that good of a tackle. We talked about him maybe going to the Jets at 2. So the fact that the Bengals can kind of let this quarterback market play out, let these trades happen, and they can sit pretty at pick 5 and still get the best offensive tackle in the draft, that's a win for them. And I completely agree with that statement. So got to keep them upright. Pick 6, the Dolphins. It's very easy. Jamar Chase, LSU, wide receiver. Call it in.
Ooh.
If this is the way the board falls, give me Jamar Chase. Now, the question here is, if the Falcons take Trey Lance and then the Bengals take Penei Sewell, or even if they take Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts is a legitimate, realistic situation. There was a thing today where Brian Flores was in person at the Florida Pro Day today, and they said that he was having conversations with Kyle Pitts, said that they was very productive, very positive, and that he was going to call him later on in the week. I have a strong feeling that the way that Miami sees it is pick 6. They went up to pick 6 because, okay, if somebody takes Kyle Pitts in the top 6, great, we'll take Jamar Chase. Love it. If somebody takes Jamar Chase, great, we'll take Kyle Pitts. If neither of them are there, great, we'll take Devontae Smith. Like,
the thing
they're going to get one of those.
There are very
few
players. Situations where I think both of those players will be gone before you pick at 6.
Exactly.
So.
And I think that's why they went back. I think it's similar to what you said about Philadelphia, where a little bit of the pressure is off of them, but it was also the smart thing to do. Dolphins fans like myself, I've been telling you since the end of the season, I'm trade back. That is my number one priority. We can get stuff for that pick. We can get more assets, and we did, and I was very happy with that.
Yeah.
Now,
if you had to pick, if both are available, if you had to pick between Kyle Pitts and Jamar Chase, who do you want for the Dolphins?
If both are available,
yes,
Kyle Pitts.
Okay.
I think we can get someone like, if we really want to do that.
I mean, the wide receiver class is pretty deep.
Exactly. I think we can get someone like Rashad Bateman, someone like Who's the other LSU receiver that I like?
Terrace Marshall.
Terrence Marshall. I think we can get them either at 18 or maybe at 36 in the second round. I think that that's something that can happen. I know we need defensive help as well. I know we need defensive line and linebackers and pass rushers, but I think that we can address it in other ways. And yeah, I think that you don't pass up on a guy like that. And you kidding me? If that's the case, and let's say we go Pitts at 6 and we go maybe Najee Harris at 18, even though I'm anti that. I don't want first round running backs, but that's for another conversation. That gives you a stud workhorse running back that worked with Tua, and you can get a 2 tight end set with Pitts and Gesicki. And Pitts can also go into the slot. Like Pitts is an X factor. Like you can do so many things with it. It gives him so much flexibility, true. And it's a fantastic weapon. It is literally the best case scenario for Tua. Give him the most unguardable college football player of the last decade. You know?
Yeah.
There weren't matchup problems in the league in college football like Kyle Pitts made since Calvin Johnson at Georgia Tech. Like it's insane, you know? So
just throwing out the Hall of Fame
comps.
I don't disagree. Okay, I want
thank you very much. But like before we move on, Tyler, I want to say now that we traded out of pick 3, with all the Deshaun Watson stuff that's going on, we haven't really talked about it in depth. There are a lot of sexual assault allegations. I think the number is up to 21 at this point.
Yes.
Listen, we here at Sideline Judgement, Tyler and I, we are never going to not take an allegation seriously. We're never going to not believe women when they come out and they say things like this. So that is why we've kind of been silent on that, because we want to believe. We are believing. It's unfortunate because the whole thing about innocent until proven guilty. Well, when there's a track record of sexual assault and rape and harassment, you know what? I think men have withdrawn that right to be innocent until proven guilty. We are going to start believing women first and foremost. And that is how we repair the trust between men and women in regards to sexual assault and rape and harassment. With that being said, I think there are theories out about the relationship of the Texans owner with the lawyer that's filing the lawsuits and all that stuff. And that may very well be true, but we are not going to be in that camp. We want to be proven wrong about the Deshaun Watson situation rather than, we come out and say, look, we were right. It wasn't true. No, we're going to believe women first.
Well, then that's the thing. When it first dropped, when the first lawsuit dropped, it was just like, you have to take these allegations seriously. But it was like one lawsuit against a player that absolutely wants to leave with a lawyer that is a friend of the Texans owner.
Right.
And it's one of those things where you just have to be you're all kind of like suspicious. But you have to you take those allegations seriously.
Absolutely.
And that's not the situation by far anymore. No. And it's one of those, if there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we don't know the whole truth, and we won't find it out for a little while, I imagine. But we have a duty to take those allegations seriously. So Correct. That's what we are going to do.
And with that being said, from the Dolphins' perspective, as a fan, I'm out. I know Deshaun is a transcendent talent. I know that on the field, he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And we talked about, oh my gosh, if we can get Deshaun, Dolphins, fantastic. Wow, man, AFC championship game, blah, blah, blah. I'm out. And that's why you're not going to hear Tyler and I use that and theorize trading with the Texans for Deshaun, because we are 100% out on that. This by default makes Tua the guy, which is fine. Before all these allegations, I said I was cool with it. And that is how the Dolphins are clearly approaching the draft. It's a blessing in disguise in the sense of, could you imagine if we traded everything for Deshaun earlier and then all of these things came out? As an organization, the Dolphins would be screwed. But that obviously compales in peanuts to the actual seriousness of the situation. And I just wanted to clarify that when we got to the Dolphins pick, because that's not something that we're going to be entertaining. So Tua is the guy, and we're going to approach the draft from that sense. So now that's been addressed, I want to clarify that, especially at the Dolphins pick. So let's go ahead and move forward to Detroit Lions, Tyler.
Detroit Lions.
You are picking for them?
I am. Top need on the board is wide receiver. And we're going to pick a wide receiver with an elite trait, and the elite trait is his speed. And I'm going to pick Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle
Uh,
over Devontae Smith.
Yes, because of what I just said. The elite trait part.
Right.
It's one of those things where like Devontae Smith is such a hard evaluation because
he's 170 pounds.
He is a statistical anomaly in every single facet of his physicality, yet he plays like he has a different body. He is excellent at literally everything. Great hands, great route running. His film is incredible. He killed in all ways in college.
Yeah.
There's literally no one who can cover him. And in a sustainable fashion. And
he won the Heisman at wide receiver. You know how difficult that is?
Super difficult. Additionally, he won in every way you wanted, and he won in a lot of the ways that I think are replicable in the league. But again, it is the matter of like, when is the last time we've had a wide receiver with that physical profile be successful in the league?
That's true.
And people have bet against Devontae Smith his whole life, and that has fueled how good of a player he is. So, I think the next wide receiver off the board is Devontae Smith. Like, I think he's falling out. He's out in the top 15 or 20. Like,
right.
Like, you're splitting hairs, but I think what you do get with Jamar Chase is you do get the game breaking speed. So I'm gonna go with that.
Awesome. And I think it's important
not that Jared Goff's gonna be able to do anything about it, but like
I think it's important to note that he got hurt this season, and it's unfortunate. He had a bad ankle sprain, and that takes a long time to recover. And when you suffer that in the third week of the season or something, that sucks. You miss the chunk of the year. It's just bad timing. If that happens in the spring, you can get healthy for the season, but unfortunately for him. So next pick up, we have the Carolina Panthers, and good Lord, are they just foaming at the mouth at what happened here.
They got lucky.
Top two quarterbacks on the board. According to the Draft Network, they have Mac Jones as the third overall prospect.
Well, that's the predictive board. That is what they predict to happen.
Got it. Not the big board in terms of talent.
Yeah, which, it threw me off too. Because
threw me off big time because I trust them. And I trust them over there. So there's very few times when I'm like, really, guys? And that was one of them. So I'm glad we clarify that.
It's predictive, not player. It's based off what they're hearing.
Perfect. So with that being said.
Thank God that we realized that, because I was about to go on a just massive tangent.
Yeah. Like with that being said, I'm going to just not listen to that. I'm going to take Trey Lance. And this is just falling into their lap. I think if they want to keep Teddy there, I think they can keep Teddy there in terms of a leadership role. But if they draft Trey Lance, I think Trey Lance is the day one starter. Teddy's the backup. And it's kind of like a Tua Fitzpatrick role in terms of he's got that veteran to help him out. He's got a guy that can help kind of show him the professional ropes. But he's got the traits, man. He's got the traits. He's got the vision. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. I don't see a world where Trey Lance doesn't succeed. I think he would fit the best and have the most success in San Francisco. But if he's able to fall, this is great for the Panthers because they're going to be able to do well. And so, that's it. Awesome. I'm taking Trey Lance. Pick 9.
All right. The Denver Broncos.
Denver.
All right. There's 2 ways that we can go here.
Okay.
In my opinion. We can go linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big need. Micah Parsons is available.
Yeah.
Hell of an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
There have been talks of character concerns. I don't know how much I buy into that, but that is for them to evaluate.
Of Patrick Surtain?
Oh, no, of Micah Parsons.
Of Micah Parsons, yes. Okay.
But then again, I've read it. I don't know how much to break into that. It doesn't seem like anything major. It's more of like a personal preference thing. Mm-hmm. So we're going to throw that out. Hell of an athlete at linebacker. The other direction we could go in.
Mm-hmm.
We could go in the direction of cornerback. That's true. Sorry, 3 directions. But the other direction is that QB is the direction they could go in.
Oh.
Because Mac Jones is here.
Okay.
And I want to clarify that this I don't think would be a good pick.
Uh-huh.
But is it the one that gets made?
We have different approaches to this draft, this mock draft, because I'm very much like, I'm making the right decision, and you're like, I'm going to see what these teams might do.
I don't know. But no, they wouldn't. No, I can't do it. Okay. Denver's taking Micah Parsons, the linebacker out of Penn State.
I don't hate the pick. I actually like the pick, if you don't mind.
Thank you.
Next up, we have the Cowboys at pick 10, and this isn't even a question here. They are running to the board with the card. They're taking Patrick Surtain. They need a cornerback.
Oh yeah, they're taking
he's one of the top cornerbacks in the draft. There is a shout for J.C. Horn here. He has been climbing draft boards, and I have been telling you I have loved him. He was seen as like a mid-20s pick a few weeks ago. He is now like a high teens pick.
This is what happens when it takes us so long to get to the draft, is that we start talking about things, and then we forget about, we get bored with certain prospects, so we just forget about them.
Yeah.
And then like everybody's just bored with Penei Sewell because like he's clearly offensive tackle 1.
Right.
And everybody always talks about like, well, who could maybe be offensive tackle 1 instead? And we're like, the reality is nobody. And J.C. Horn's one of those situations where it's like, he hasn't done anything necessarily, but we've talked about it, and people are getting more and more into like, like let's take him. Like,
yeah.
I think he's a good corner. So we'll see.
I do. But I'm going to take Patrick Surtain the second. I think best cornerback on the board.
Decision.
So the New York Football Giants, Tyler.
New York. Let's see. I mean, needs or edge and tight end are pretty big, but you're not really getting one. This isn't a great edge class, and tight end you could get probably a good tight end in the second round. So we're gonna give Daniel Jones a weapon. We're gonna give him Devontae Smith.
Okay, all right.
You need somebody who can move the chains.
I like it. Devontae
Smith goes to New York.
That doesn't fare well for my next pick, which is the Philadelphia Eagles at pick 12. But I think, blessing in disguise. I think the Eagles constantly need help in the secondary over the past 3-4 years.
They always just don't address it.
They don't. And I think that this is the year they address it. And we were just talking about J.C. Horn. And I think at pick 12, it's a good pick. It's good value. I'm going to take J.C. Horn. It's good value. I like him a lot. Smart guy, physical, fast. I think he's going to fit well in Philadelphia. And honestly, if I'm the Eagles, I didn't get at pick 6 Jamar Chase or Kyle Pitts and stuff like that, but you got a really high quality player on the defensive side of the ball. And while Howie Roseman has shown he doesn't know how to evaluate wide receivers very well, those come around more often than a corner. So more stabs.
Now if you don't pick them.
Yeah, but the top guys in this scenario are gone. So at that point, you might as well kick it to round 2.
Wide receiver is a deep class.
Exactly. I'd rather take corner. Those are a bit more rare. So
because the corner drop off is a little bit more like pronounced.
Correct. Right. So J.C. Horn there. I think the draft's going to start to pick up the pace now that those major guys are gone. There's 2 people that there's one player that I'm a bit surprised has made it to 13. And there's another player that, while I don't think should be taken this high up, I'm surprised that I would be surprised if he was here at this point in the draft on draft night. So Tyler, you're up with pick 13. That's Mac Jones. I would be surprised if he got to this point. Not that I think he should be taken earlier than this. I think he should be taken later than this. I think he's a round 2 quarterback.
We are of one mind.
Right. And the other player that I'm surprised has made it this far is Rashawn Slater, which
not anymore.
I was going to say.
He gone. Chargers. Send tweet to the podium.
This ain't fair, Slater. Man. This ain't fair. I once again blame Mario Cristobal because now you're going to get Justin Herbert and Rashawn Slater and these 2 fantastic pieces. And I have a feeling they're going to be the Chargers staples for the next 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which good for them. Good for them.
Chargers fans deserve a win.
Yeah. All right. Here's where the draft gets interesting. We get to pick 14. Most of the top guys are off the board. The Vikings are at pick 14. They need defensive help. They need safeties, edge. They also need some linemen for interior offensive linemen and some tackles. I'm not going to address those major needs right now. I am what I am going to do, Tyler, is go one of the best player available routes. And I'm looking here real quick so I can see who's here. I'm looking here. This is some great podcasting. Okay, so no, maybe not there. Maybe the value's not good enough for that player. Let me see. You know what? I may do it. I think I may do it. I think I'm going to take a player that is a need, but not one of the main ones. I'm going to give them Christian Darsaw out of Virginia Tech, the
Good
offensive
pick.
tackle. I think
pick.
that's they're in a spot. They're very much, not to bring it back to Miami, but they're very much Miami in that 2016, I think, draft, 2017, whenever we got Laramie Tunsil, where it's like, we don't need, it's not a glaring need, but it would help definitely.
But you always need talented O-linemen.
Always.
You always do.
And he dropped to a certain spot thanks to the weed video. And it's like, you know what? Let's do it. And hey, that was the most impactful Dolphins draft pick of the last decade. So
about to say, like, you should be
as we said,
that moment.
Future Hall of Famer and member of the Dolphins Ring of Honor, Laramie Tunsil. So give me him.
All right.
Pick 15.
The Patriots are up.
The Patriots are up.
I mean, the Patriots who Bill Belichick just basically said, hey, here's all the money that we have. Just get me whoever I want. I don't care what we pay them. 2 tight ends, re-signed Cam Newton for 1 year. Looks like most of the defense is coming back when many of them were out for COVID opt-outs.
Right. Listen, this team will be better next year. This team will be
a lot better.
Yeah, they will.
I got to do it.
Don't do it.
It has to happen.
No,
I got to do
it. Don't make that the quarterback
room. It has to happen. I have to do it. No, it's right there. The troll's right there. Like,
all right.
Well, you know, little known fact, Bill Belichick and Nick Saban are friends. And because of that, Mac Jones is going to go to the Patriots at 15, because it's going to be that connection. Nick Saban's going to,
I hate this. Actually,
Nick
no,
Saban,
I love it because I don't think Mac Jones is going to be the best.
Mac Jones is prepared, is prepared for the Saban factor. He's prepared for Bill Belichick. He's the next part of Tom Brady, and the fact that he
is
which
white?
Actually, yes, you beat me to it. Well, PFF literally put out a tweet that was of Mac Jones pulling up a shirt at one point, doing the thing where he's pulls up a shirt to wipe off his face or something at his pro day. And he's got the dad bod gut, which I respect.
Legend,
national champion. And then it's just but they put a picture next to it in the tweet of Tom Brady's pro day picture.
I hate this.
Just same energy, and I was don't do this. Don't curse this man like that. The fit. I don't think that Mac Jones will be successful if the Patriots will have anything to do with him having gone to Alabama. It really won't.
Neither would I. I can't wait for the draft day story of why is Mac Jones falling? And it's because he's not that good. Not difficult.
It is the same situation where Mac Jones is a perfectly fine quarterback who had the literal best situation you could ever possibly ask for, and you know what? Props to him. He made a lot out of it.
Yeah, congrats to him.
New England's looking like a better roster, so he's not going to be terrible. I mean, Cam Newton's going to start. But
I agree.
He fell to the Patriots. I had to do it.
All right.
Just because, for the content, I had to do it.
Fine.
Well, because, Mac Jones, he went into the Saban factory, so it's just going to be a continuation. He's going to win more national championships and Super Bowls, because he knows what it's like. He knows the expectations. Bill Belichick and Nick Saban are friends, and they work together, so they must be the same.
I hate people who just watch one HBO documentary on Saban and Belichick and think they know it all. That's my problem. That's my issue. But
they act like those are the only two football coaches.
Yeah,
they're the only two good football coaches.
Yeah,
and they're friends. So this must be the way that it's done. And I'm
this is it.
While yes, they are the best. They're both the best. There are other ways to do things.
Yeah, for real. I saw a picture today of Dan Mullen and Urban Meyer. Okay, so all of a sudden what? We're gonna get every Ohio State, and the Jags are gonna get every Gator player ever. No, come on, guys.
I know somebody who all he does talk about is you should sign this former Florida player, and you should sign this former Florida player. And I'm while I don't disagree because they're good players, I'm just we can think outside of the box.
Yeah, and today, there was a text in our fantasy football group chat where I think it was Ben who was why are we not talking about the Florida Pro Day? And I was like, dude, I know who's good and who's bad. I don't need to watch
what
this.
What are we going to learn from that?
I can tell you exactly what it is. All right. I've seen this team play. I've
Kyle
seen these
Pitts
guys.
is an alien. And Kadarius Toney and Trayvon Grimes are fast. And, Kyle Trask is surprisingly
Really
good at throwing, but still, has a dad bod. Guess what? I've known these things for years.
Yeah. Marco Wilson's really physical, but made one big mistake. I know these things. Anyway, I digress. Let's pick up the pace, Tyler. Let's keep it going here. Pick 16, the Arizona Cardinals. This is definitely like a best player available situation for the Cardinals, I think. What's funny is that when we got to the predictive board, we are now at the 16th rank. So we picked the top 15 players on their predictive board in the top 15 picks in a different order, but we picked them. So it's interesting that we've kind of on our own validity followed.
They're in our heads.
They're in our heads, Draft Network. No, but I'm going to go best player available here. Kyler always needs help. They have weapons. They got the guys. They definitely made some free agency improvements on defense with J.J. Watt being one of them and all that stuff. I'm going to go interior offensive lineman. It's the third need for the Cardinals here. And they got a guy who is just down the road at USC in Elijah Vera Tucker. He has been shooting up some draft boards as well. He seems to be one of the better interior offensive linemen in the draft. This isn't like a big-time lineman draft. There's Penei Sewell, Rashawn Slater, and the two interior guys, and that's pretty much it in terms of top-level linemen. It's not like last year where we got guys like Mekhi Becton and we got guys like Tristan Wirfs and all those people. So I would expect more of a run on skill position players or defensive players for the rest of the first draft. There may be a couple more linemen, but it is what it is. Tyler, go ahead. Pick 17.
Pick 17, Las Vegas Raiders. One of the key attributes of this team, and the whole reason Russell Wilson put them on one of his lists of the teams he would trade them to, is because they're a strong offensive line.
Yes.
What did they do to the entire offensive line? They said, yeet! And they basically got rid of everyone for money reasons, I assume, which, I imagine offensive line is one of the last positions that you get rid of players because they cost a lot.
I agree. I
don't know. I'm not going to pretend to understand John Gruden. But
or Mayock.
It makes their needs and their wants pretty clear. So they're going to go with Tevin Jenkins, the offensive tackle out of Oklahoma State.
Right. And here's the thing where what I just said about the offensive lineman, it is what it is. I'm not really happy with this with this pick for them. It's not. I think he's like a later round, for value wise. I think he could have gotten later on. But then again, we see this all the time in these middle picks in the first round, where some teams are going to reach for players that could value wise be in the 20s. Some teams are going to end up getting guys that slide and shouldn't. So that's just the nature of this slot. Pick 18. The Dolphins are second pick. There's a lot of clamoring for people to take Najee Harris. I told you I'm not a fan of that. I like the North Carolina running backs as well. I think paired up with some of the guys that we have on the roster now, they can be a really strong backfield. And we need running backs. Even though I think he's going to fit perfectly, I think he can make it to round 2. So I'm going to go ahead and gamble there. And I'm also going to go ahead and try to take another massive position of need. So the top available edge rusher here is Jalen Phillips out of Miami. And then ironically, Gregory Rousseau, who was predicted to be a top 5-10 draft pick before the COVID season, he's dropped down to the TDN predictive board ranking of 44. Now, I don't know if this is just the Draft Network getting in my head, but I had Gregory Rousseau slotted here. I think he's a good pick. I really would like to see what he did. But then again, you also I like Jalen Phillips a lot as well, and he really produced last season. So I think I'm just going to let Draft Network get in my head. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Jalen Phillips. He stays in Miami. Versus
no
Aziz.
Curses. No, I said curses.
Right.
I wanted to pick him somewhere else, and you did.
Got it. So my apologies there. I'm going to take him. And honestly, if they're predicting that Gregory Rousseau is going to fall that much, maybe we get him with our second pick in the second round. So I would love it if we took both of these guys. I think they're both studs. They both stay home. They're both in South Florida. I like both of these guys, so I'll take Jalen Phillips at 18.
Mm-hmm.
Good first round for Miami. If we walk away with Jamar Chase and Jalen Phillips, I'm a big fan. What a great birthday present the Dolphins can give me on my 25th. So.
All right. So the Washington football team, who evidently have had talks of just making that their permanent name.
I'm here for it, honestly.
I mean, it's going to be one of those things where they can't find or get the rights to the name that they want for so long that we will just not remember them as anything else but the Washington football team.
Well, I love how that was our bit because we refused to call them by their older name, and now that's what they actually are.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we didn't get a single check for that, but whatever.
Not yet. Not yet. I'm dating a lawyer. I hope you know that. So we'll get there.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
Never say never.
All right. Their top needs are offensive tackle, linebacker, safety. Make a little bit of a different pick here. Okay. I'm not going to go tackle. I'm going to go linebacker.
Got it.
I'm going to pick Zaven Collins out of Tulsa.
Oh.
Switch it up a little bit. Switch it up a little bit.
Love
He's a good player.
Very good player. Very good player. Great job. Great job.
And you know, the Washington football team is actually like the roster's not bad. Like they're in a position with Ryan Fitzpatrick to act like they're good and then inexplicably not be good at the end of the season or not be good in certain spots and miss out on the playoffs.
That's also just not fair. You look at that defense, you got Montez Sweat.
Oh yeah.
You got Chase Young and now you got Zaven Collins.
Make your strength stronger is what I'm going with here. Like
put Fitzpatrick in a good position.
You ain't gonna get a high flying offense necessarily with Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like he's not your quarterback in the future. You're asking him to get you Alex Smith, Taylor Heineke levels of production, and just making your defense that was the strength of your team even better.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm here for that. So
I mean, you don't really have a lot of, and last year was more indicative of this, but look at the quarterbacks in your division. All respect to Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts, not a lot of respect for Daniel Jones, but Daniel Jones. And Dak was hurt last year, but Dak's back, and so that'll be tough. But you don't really have, your defense can survive in this division. Yeah. Like
that's the thing. This is the worst.
You can win with a good defense in this division. Like you ain't winning in the NFC West with just a good defense. Like because Russell Wilson and Matt Stafford and Kyler Murray are in that division.
Yeah, they're gonna torch you.
And then Kyle Shanahan's offense, which is always good no matter who he puts a quarterback. Like so, but that's not the case where you are. So make your defense stronger. Agreed.
All right, lightning round. Here we go. Chicago Bears. I'm like not going to overthink this. They signed Allen Robinson to the franchise tag, but he's going to dip after next year. So I'm just going to replace him. I'm going to replace him, and I'm going to give them Rashad Bateman.
That is a good pick.
Rashad Bateman.
That is a really good pick that I love for them. He is a lot like Allen Robinson.
Very much so.
All right. Okay. The Indianapolis Colts. Let's see. Caleb Farley has been falling really far because of the back surgery thing. But I say no further.
Got it.
And I'm going to draft Caleb Farley because you know what? Take a chance on him. The Colts are a good roster. You're in that position where you just need a couple pieces to make you a little better, and you need a corner. And I'm going to give him Caleb Farley because you know what? Draft him to be good for a couple of years. The whole thing with the back is more of the back surgery seems to be more of a matter of like the Myles Jack thing, where it's just like he is going to play for the next couple of years, but it's a matter of will he play for 15 years or will he play for 8?
Right.
And
well,
if
even
you're Indianapolis, you need him to play for 3.
Right, exactly. You need him to play until you're able to get back
to Super Bowl.
Exactly. So I'm with you on that. I agree.
I'm going to pick him. I'm going to pick Caleb Farley.
And that sucks because that's who I was going to take with the Titans pick here at 22.
Well, the Titans, you know what? Suck it.
That's fine. I'm gonna zag. I'm going to go with a player that plays on the outside, but I'm not going to take a defensive guy. I'm going to go wide receiver. I'm going to go Terrence Marshall.
Ooh,
I'm going to go Terrence Marshall. One. Yeah, you give they just lost Jonnu Smith to New England, and while it's not a like for like replacement position wise, it's definitely trying to replace production. So I'm going to go with him. It's going to be great for listen, you can always do. They have a great offensive line. Ryan Tannehill is the chef's kiss of a play action quarterback. They have the most unstoppable offensive weapon in football in Derrick Henry. You run the play action, you get speedy receivers to do that, physical receivers to get up and get the ball during play action plays, one-on-one. It's a win-win. So give me Terrence Marshall Jr. The Jets at 23, Tyler.
Okay. Robert Taylor is the head coach, so you got the quarterback. You're going to need some defensive help, even though the defense is pretty good. Mm-hmm. For being a bad team, the defense was the better part.
Right.
Let's give you some corner help. Let's go Eric Stokes out of Georgia.
Good. I prefer him over Greg Newsome II out of Northwestern as well, even though Greg Newsome is projected a bit higher on the predictive board. But I'm with you. I like Stokes. He caused some problems for he was on Trevon during the Florida game, on Trevon Grimes.
Yeah.
And he also was on Tony at times as well. And when he was on them, did a great job.
He's a good player.
Good player. Really good player. I liked him. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. A lot of needs here for the Steelers. If Mac Jones falls to here, I would not put it past them to take him and have him sit behind Big Ben.
Yeah.
I actually think that would be a good fit for them and for him. So, but that, alas, in this situation has not happened. Cornerback, tackle, running back are all options. I don't think they would go running back first round. Corners, best available is Greg Newsome II. Then you got Aaron Robinson, who I like, but maybe a round 2 kind of guy. A lot of tackles on the board. There's a guy, you know what? I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go with Samuel Cosmi out of Texas at tackle. He is a guy that I expect to go in this range. Anywhere between 22 and 30, I think, is a good value for him. And he can work out. I think he might be able to work out for them. So give him that. All right, Tyler, your first real pick of the draft for the Jags.
Yeah, the first one where I have to put some effort into it. Jacksonville Jaguars, top needs, offensive tackle, wide receiver. What?
I know who you want. I know who you want.
Who do I want, Sergio?
Can I say it?
Yeah, say who you think I want.
Christian Barmore.
I mean, that's very true.
I know you want him.
I do. However, I'm torn because the one thing that the Jaguars have done a really good job in for free agency so far is bolstering the defensive line.
Correct.
That has been something. So, I'm going to take a little bit different, a sleeper pick, which I've done before, but I like. I'm going to take Trayvon Merrick, the safety out of TCU.
I like that pick.
Because I want to shore up the back end.
Yeah.
I need some speed. I need some good players on the back end. I want a good defense. Christian Barmore would make me happy too, but there's a possibility we can get him with our first pick in the second round.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Likely not, because I will probably pick him in the next couple picks. So,
because we like him so much.
Yes.
Makes sense. Next up is the Browns. They need edge help. They need somebody to pair with what's Buddy's name who threw the helmet? Myles Garrett. They need somebody to pair. They need somebody to pair with Myles Garrett on the opposite side. The top-ranked edge rushers left in the predictive board is Azeez Ojulari, but I'm not going to take him. Ojulari out of Georgia. I'm going to take Kwity Paye out of Michigan. I think I like him as more of a complete prospect. That's not to say that Azeez can't get there, but I like Kwity Paye a bit more as a complete prospect. He can kind of produce from day one for them, and I think that's important for them, especially since they made the playoffs. They won a playoff game last year, so I'll give them that. So he's heading to Cleveland.
All right, the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson needs a weapon. He needs somebody who can get open short. Somebody who can break some ankles. Yeah. Somebody who can embarrass some people. Elijah Moore, come on down.
Oh, love the pick. Hate it for me. Love the pick, though. Man, Lamar with Elijah? Woo!
Yeah.
That's fun.
It'd be fun. It'd be really good.
Them Broward boys are going to ball.
I would like to see it.
Them Broward boys.
I would like to see it.
I would like to see it. That'd be fun. All right, I won't be mad at that. I like that.
It would be fun. I mean, this is my big thing, and it is a little bit of the whole. You have Marquise Brown, which is another undersized, speedy receiver that has not been the best for you. Like he does one thing really well,
right?
And it's get open deep.
Yes,
but that's not always the most consistent thing. And I think if you are the Ravens, you need somebody who can just get you a first down.
Yes,
like home runs are important, but you need singles and doubles. And Elijah Moore, while he can get you home runs, I've seen Elijah Moore get you singles and doubles plenty of times. I have. And I have full confidence that he can get you a first down. Like, you can throw the ball to Elijah Moore to get a first down. Yeah. That's what you need right now, Ravens. That's the thing you've been missing. Do it.
Love it. Love the pick. Next up is the Saints. Is there a way I can draft cap space?
I mean, it basically doesn't actually affect them anyway. Like,
I know, right? So they need.
How do they do it, man?
I don't know, man.
It's because they're in New Orleans. Because they all the magic, all the voodoo,
the voodoo.
Yeah.
They need a corner. They need wide receiver help. They need edge help. In terms of value, I think there's probably one more first round value wide receiver on the board. I am not going to take him just because I think value wise you can get him later on. You can maybe trade up. Corner back. You got Greg Newsome there. You also got Aaron Robinson. But again, maybe some second round quality in that sense. Edge, though, you have some top players left in terms of maybe Azeez from Georgia, like we talked about, Jason Owe out of Penn State. I'm going to give them Azeez Ojulari.
Okay, Ojulari.
I'm going to take him because best available edge guy there. They let Trey Hendrickson walk in free agency. So I gave him. He actually went to the Browns. So I guess that Browns pick that I had.
Never bad to have more edges.
No, not at all. Maybe Kwity Paye can learn there. I love Trey Hendrickson, FAU legend. So he's gone out of New Orleans. Give them Azeez to get up there out of Georgia. You're up, Tyler.
All right. Where is this person? Okay, there they are. The Green Bay Packers. Wide receiver. You need wide receiver big, but they wouldn't do that. So they wouldn't pick wide receiver. So throwing that out. Need some defensive help, but in their new scheme, I'm not really sure what they picture. I'm gonna pick Alex Leatherwood, the offensive tackle out of Alabama, because I think that they need some tackle help. Always good to give Aaron Rodgers more room to work.
Nice.
Because you basically mortgaged your whole future towards just making Aaron Rodgers have to win you things, not really giving him. So you might as well just give him more time in the pocket.
Might as well. And I think, again, he's going to fit really well there. Yeah. I like him a lot, so good pick. Pick 30, we have the Buffalo Bills. Tough. This is a really good team. I don't know of many holes. Like desperate, like
these are luxury picks right here.
These are luxury picks. And because of that, I'm going to address them as such. So I'm not really going to go with like anything expected. I'm going to go with one of the better players available. A guy that I'm surprised is still here. Because in our first two mock drafts, he was definitely like a top 15 pick. Not to say I think he's bad. I just think in this situation, the board's fallen a bit differently. I'm going to give them Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. It's one of those Koramoah. I apologize. He's one of those best.
I don't even know if I'm saying it right.
Best player available. You know, I like him a lot. I like you said, luxury pick. You know, if he's going to terrorize quarterbacks at the linebacker position and break up passing lanes, you might as well do it for Buffalo. You know.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Might as well.
All right, Kansas City, second to last pick.
Are you going to do
it? I'm heavily considering. I was going to go on a whole rant about how you need offensive tackle because that's the whole reason you lost your bowl, but screw that. More speed. Kadarius Toney to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Nice. Very glad.
Because I would like to see it.
I would like to see it. All right, Tyler. So 32, the Bucs.
Tampa Bay.
I'm going to talk this through with you.
Okay.
I have two options here, the way the board's fallen. It's Travis Etienne to give to give Brady a pass-catching running back, guy on a rookie deal. We talked about how Ronald Jones is going into his last year. They can move on from him and they can have him here. Or Christian Barmore has fallen to 32. And we saw Vita Vea get hurt. He can be that presence in there. If you got Vita Vea and another interior guy, oh my gosh, that would be insane.
That would be hard to stop. That's the whole reason they were good, is their defensive line.
Yeah, and then, again, this is the team that is bringing back all 22 starters from a Super Bowl winning team. They literally ran it back.
I think you got to do that, man.
I think I got to go Christian Barmore, right?
And they re-signed Leonard Fournette, which I don't know why.
I don't know why. I would have allocated those funds to other players,
cash considerations, honestly,
and then would have taken Travis Etienne and gone Travis Etienne, Ronald Jones for a year, and then addressed the secondary running back position later. That's what I would have done, but that's not what they did. They really wanted to just bring everyone back, which I also respect because you got to give those guys a chance to defend the title. So.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going to be responsible. I'm going to go Christian Barmore. If he falls to there,
do it.
I think that's a smart pick. I can't believe I just
agree.
Did that, but
I love that pick. I love it.
I like it too. Tyler, that has been Mock Draft 3.0. A lot of players taken, a lot of different things that happen that we aren't used to. But then again, so is life. We had a massive trade that kind of couple massive trades that shook things up. As we say, the draft starts at 2, but it does not end at 2. So a lot of things can happen. A lot of things can happen. The first round of the NFL draft is on April 29th. It's a Thursday. I turned 25 that day. My birthday present hopefully will be 2 fantastic picks by the Miami Dolphins. And my gift on my birthday to you, Tyler, will be a franchise quarterback.
Long game, baby. Long game.
And I respect it. Tyler, with that being said, let's just go ahead and wrap up the episode. It's a late night for us. Let's talk about the tweets that we've shared this week. Tyler, what is your favorite tweet that I have sent you this week?
Favorite tweet that you've sent me is regards to the fact that the NCAA, the Supreme Court, is hearing things about I don't know the legal terminology. The Supreme Court be talking about the NCAA and reporters be tweeting. The Supreme Court is discussing the national the name, image, and likeness situation with the NCAA, which does not have a leg to stand on. And in it, Dan Wetzel is tweeting that it's response to a tweet of his own where Justice Thomas notes that sounds fine in regards to something about eligibility and says that sounds fine for upper level schools, whether it's Alabama, Ohio State, Nebraska. Says Cornhusker fans celebrate that they are still considered upper level with such company. Then Dan Wetzel replied to his own tweet and says, I have now learned Justice Thomas is a longtime Nebraska fan. I need to brush up on the Supreme Court rooting interests. Much respect for his fandom to sneak this in there. It's the ultimate message board post.
Let me just say,
that is not the most college football thing ever.
I am so glad. I've heard that Justice Thomas doesn't speak much. And that when he does speak, it's like a, yo, are you guys for real type thing. So the fact that he spoke when the NCAA was presenting their case is like, oh my gosh. It was one of those like, oh my gosh, this is insane. Like, what's going on? This isn't a tweet that I shared with you guys, but I did see it today. It was by Bomani Jones, where he said, this Supreme Court hearing is a reminder that the NCAA's arguments sound really crazy to people who don't really follow sports like that.
Yeah.
So true.
Like the whole thing with the NCAA is that it's basically a whole situation regarding all based around the concept of, well, that's just the way we've always done it.
Right. And the thing is that, like, for me, it's crazy that in the most like hyper, we hate communism, capitalism, rah, rah, America, in the most that type of country in the world, there is this entire system based upon the fact that the employees cannot profit and cannot be paid a wage.
They got to do it for the love of doing it.
It's literally the most like, oh, but that's how it's been. And, like we get so many other benefits and stuff. And it's like, yo, like, could you imagine going to work for like Publix? And Publix is like, no, we're not going to pay you, but you're going to be able to get the experience of working as a player. And these things are going to help you in the future. I'd be in the cashier booth, like, get the out of here. Are you kidding me?
And Publix would be like, now anything you learned about how to sell things or organize stuff or grow food and sell it yourself, yeah, you can't do that, or else you just can't work here.
Right.
Like, you can't do it on the side either.
Exactly.
Like,
or if it's
even for fun, like,
or even then, if it's like, hey, I'm gonna make a YouTube account about what I learned at Publix and what I think is the best, and I'm gonna monetize it, then Publix can be like, no, can't do that. You either work for us and don't make anything, or you make your YouTube account and profit, but you don't work for us anymore. It's like, I'm sorry, what now?
Why can't I do both?
Could you imagine if you were like a pub sub maker and you were like in there making a sub and you're making subs and it's like, wow, why don't you like go to like work for Subway because they can pay you for it? And you're like, no, man, it's for the love of the sub. It's for the love of the sub, you know?
You know, it's funny because like I do think pub subs are better, but like
Facts.
like no one in their right mind is doing it for the love of the sub. Like,
exactly.
As great of a notion as that is, pay me, please. Like, look, people got. We've waxed poetic about this in the 150 plus episodes of the show that we've done, and yeah, we have our thoughts on it, and it's. I love to see that the non-sports world is understanding it. Well, like funny side tangent real quick is like another funny thing that like we explain to sports that people who don't follow sports don't understand is that like I remember having to explain to my roommate who does not care about sports at all about the whole thing with the draft and how it was just like, the best players get picked by teams, and it's just like you don't get to pick the place of your employment.
Nope.
I was like, no.
Not at all.
And so it's like, it does sound really weird, doesn't it? Like
it does.
It does.
That's better than
and there's a whole reason for it because it's a matter of like, if that was the case, everyone would just want to go play for Kansas City. Like,
well, that's the problem we have in soccer, right? Like,
yeah,
the second you can play for Madrid, Barcelona, or Man City, or Chelsea, whatever, like, yeah, that's it. It's over. So
and that's what it's funny is that the NFL has done is more than any other league gone to such great lengths to create parity. And like it does it better than a lot of other sports leagues.
It's funny, the most American concept is capitalism, yet all of our sports are very socialist. Yeah, it's crazy, and everyone's just like, "Oh, that's the way it is." And it's like, well, I mean, have some good. Like, I would love to bring up, like, my dad does not know the like inner workings of college football, and like I would love to sit down with him for an hour and genuinely explain everything. And I guarantee you, my dad, the most Reagan capitalist Republican ever, would be like, well, that doesn't make sense. That's not free, whatever. And I'm like, cool, awesome, vote for this. Like, just like, I am very liberal, you are very conservative. We can find common ground here.
The key is to not use any of the keywords.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly.
Just explain it for what it is, which is what's happening in the Supreme Court right now.
Exactly.
And
hopefully
very interesting.
Pay the players.
What is the tweet that you shared with me?
The tweet is actually, I'm cheating because I'm picking one that I sent you, but I just love it so much. Boy. It is from Stephen Ruiz. He quote tweets a Badlands McNeely tweet, which the Badlands McNeely tweet says, Kyle Pitts with the biggest wingspan of any tight end ever at 83 3/8, LOL, which I think I mentioned earlier in the show. And he quotes it and says, tired, move Pitts to wide receiver. Wired, move Pitts to left tackle.
There he is. His blocking's actually fine.
It's actually really good as well. He's going to be a good blocker.
People just trying. It's one of those things that happens every year. There's a couple players that are like, they're just good. There's not,
I can't wait. I can't wait for our kids.
You don't have to all sit here and try to find something wrong with them.
Right.
Like,
I can't wait for our kids to like, we're going to be watching the Kyle Pitts like Hall of Fame induction, and we're going to be like, yeah, so finally, blah, blah, blah. And my kids are going to be like, wow, like, do you remember? Because he's going to be a Gator, then hopefully he plays for the Dolphins, and he's going to do this, whatever. So it's going to be a big presence in my life. If a Dolphins draft him, I'm buying a jersey. I want this to be.
No, it makes sense. No, it makes sense.
Cool. So I'm going to go, and my dad's going to be like, wow. Or my kid's going to be like, wow, Papi, when did you like know he was that good? And I'll be like, I have known this man was going to the Hall of Fame since he was a junior in college. Like literally. Literally. The end of his
knew
junior,
he'd be good his sophomore year.
Right.
When Kyle Trask took over, but his second to last year, but like this past season, you're like, no, this man is a Hall of Famer.
He's just unguardable. He's literally unguardable, and it's insane. So that's it. And then he actually replies to that tweet and says, "Inspired. Leave him at tight end, you morons."
For real. I'm not going to get into that discourse because it's stupid.
At all. Tyler, that was Mock Draft 3.0. We will be back later on. I will actually be interviewing a couple of my friends, get a Colts interview in there.
Yeah, I have a couple of interviews lined up.
Hopefully going to get a Giants interview.
Ooh.
So those will be coming up soon after this
all
episode.
These Northerners.
You already know. The Colts fan, his name is Jason, good friend of mine. Jason is from Long Island, and he is. Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
Okay.
He is a Colts fan. He is a Cleveland Cavaliers and Utah Jazz fan, and he is a Manchester City soccer fan.
Okay.
Make it make sense. The only one that actually makes sense is he's a Yankees fan. But Long Island, even though he should be a Mets fan because Long Island, but whatever,
Huh.
Strange.
None of those connect in any way whatsoever.
You're gonna hear the interview, and he is known in our group for the wildest of takes. You're gonna hear something.
I can't wait.
You're gonna hear something. It's gonna be great. Great interview to come up later on. I'm gonna do that one next week. So we're gonna have some interviews coming your way. Tyler, anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, just it's good. It's good that the draft order is changing. New ideas are being presented. It's always very excited. This is the time where it's just like, all right, can we just get to it?
Yeah, I'm very much.
Got a month left. Like, I just want to do it. Like, I just want to see what happens. Like,
I know, and it's funny. This year, the draft starts on my birthday, so it's like the countdown to the. I'm not even counting down to my 25th birthday. I'm counting down to the draft. Like, I want it to be my birthday, not because like for me. I want it to be my birthday because I want to watch the draft. Like, I just want it to happen.
Yeah,
I want to know who's going to be on my team. Are there more trades? Is someone going to be risky enough to trade for Deshaun Watson? Like, there's so many questions out there that I want answered, and the draft needs to come, and that's what we'll say. So, Tyler, this has been another episode of Sideline Judgment. My name is Sergio.
My name is Tyler.
And you know what? Because today was Florida's Pro Day, Tyler, let's get back to it. Go Gators. We're not biased.
Go Gators.
But go Gators.
Not biased at all. Go Gators.